Joining me now, Jeff Katz, host of the Jeff Katz Show in Richmond, Virginia, and Dustin Olson, a pollster at American Pulse Research and Polling. Yeah, Dustin, the polling does seem to be a little squirrely when it comes to the AG, but I think all the polls have been pretty consistent. Spanberger, with in some cases having a double-digit lead. What is it about winsome Earl Sears that is just not appealing to voters?
I don't know exactly if there's any one thing that is at play. I do think that these races have really closed late in the game, and unfortunately, in a state like Virginia, which has such early voting, that so many people will have voted before that texting scandals happened. So there's going to be, if with the AG's race, it's so close. If Republicans don't pull it off, it's largely going to be because people cast ballots before they even knew about that. But as far as Winsom's Earl Sears, part of it is 4 years ago, Glenn Youngkin put a lot of his own money into his race, a lot more than most anybody could do. And I do think that has an impact. I don't think she was able to build a campaign like he had and be able to take advantage of the moment. Additionally, we have to remind ourselves, this is the off-year election following a Republican winning the White House. We should be seeing Democrats get big wins in these blue states, in the blue city, and I think we're going to see actually muted results. The best places probably for them will be in Virginia, and if they do pull off the AG's race in particular, that will be a big coup for them. But I think if it's a single-digit race, that's actually not good for Democrats going into the midterms, and if it's under 6, that's really bad for them.
Jeff, I'm curious if anybody else in Virginia sees the irony of the NAACP and, again, endorsing the white candidate over the black candidate here.
It has been a huge amount of discussion with Barack Obama coming to town just last year, of course, reminding folks in the African-American community you had to stand up and support the black woman, and now actively campaigning against the black woman. It has not been lost on Virginians. It's an absolutely bizarre situation. He was in Norfolk. Now, the other thing to remember here is that with a large enough turnout in Southwest Virginia, this can very definitely be a Republican evening. That's where the majority, if you will, of socially conservative voters are located. Northern Virginia, heavily D.C.-based. Really, they work for the federal government. They vote blue consistently over and over and over again. You're also seeing a slightly less focused turnout for Spanberger. Again, the reason that Obama has to come to a heavily African-American section of Virginia to try and get the voters out. So I got to tell you, it is still, it's anybody's race here. There'll be a lot of dissecting going on afterwards, I know, but for the next hour and a half until 7 o'clock when the polls close, it ain't over yet.
Yeah, meanwhile, in New Jersey, guys, and Dustin, this one's for you. The race between Jack Ciattarelli and Mikey Sherrill is down to the wire, very close. Sherrill having to bring in the big guns, including Barack Hussein Obama. Let's take a listen to this, guys.
Because let's face it, our country and our politics are in a pretty dark place right now. It's hard to know where to start. Because every day this White House offers up a fresh batch of lawlessness and carelessness and mean-spiritedness and just plain old craziness. So this time his strategy is to suck up to the Republicans in Washington.
I'm curious about your take here. They normally never call out Barack Obama unless the candidate is in trouble.
Yeah, I agree with that. I don't think that he really does help them much, except for he did garner a lot of attention here in the last few days, and he's getting a lot of the clips. A lot of what he said there is really kind of breathtaking to hear him talking about things are darker and and crazy when in the same day he was campaigning with Jay Jones, who my view of this is, if he does get elected as Attorney General, I might have to consider leaving the Commonwealth. I can't imagine having him as our Attorney General, but it is amazing to see him talking about that. But he has never had big coattails. Democrats have lost the record number of state assemblies and Senate races and other races with Barack Obama at the helm. And so his track record isn't the best, but it definitely shows some desperation. I do think they're having some issue with turnout. It's one reason why I think the government shutdown is continuing. Yeah, it's not just because they want furloughed government workers to show up in Northern Virginia and vote. It's also because there's a non-zero chance that some of those people are out there getting out the vote as part of their grassroots operations.
Jeff Katz, I want to give you the last word here. I mean, it really was odd to hear Barack Obama talking about the darkness when, in fact, it is the Democrats that have been targeting and celebrating the attacks on conservatives and the assassination of Charlie Kirk.
Yeah, it's been absolutely brutal, and it is so bizarre to hear him speaking in that regard, Todd. I mean, I just am blown away by that. It's craziness, and here in Virginia, it's exactly that situation where we have a guy like Jay Jones who talks about putting bullets in the head of his political opponents. That's his plan, and I'm with Dustin there. I mean, there are a lot of people that are going to have to think about leaving the Commonwealth if he winds up as our AG.
All right, guys, Jeff Katz, Dustin Olson, have to leave it there. Thanks for joining our election night coverage, fellas.
Thank you both.